Nice.
And then the Thursday is, okay, the numbers are going down. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday was like, that's 26 anymore. It's 22, it's 20, it's 18, 17, 16, 12, 11, 8. We ultimately opened at 11. But it's become Sony's, what I'm being told is Sony's number one VOD film of all time. And I think number two on home video. And so now they're being very aggressive about doing something more.
Good. Well, that's good that they're understanding about, the situation, because the press on it was pretty intense. I remember seeing, trailers for it every 5 minutes, on television. So it was definitely like not lacking in marketing, Yeah,
they felt very strong about it. They saw that the early tracking numbers and they saw a win. They would try to push for it.
Well, and you can't, if Vin Diesel, I believe, is the perfect, person for the role. And he has so much box office draw that, you really couldn't have expected more if you had anyone else.
We were lucky. We were very lucky to have him.
Yeah, absolutely. So you also co-founded HiveMind, which produced, shows like The Expanse and The Witcher. How did that concept come about? How did you, put that together?
So I had some people that I was working with when I was at Valiant, two producers by the name of Sean Daniel and Jason Brown. And we were working on several films together and we became friends and we had a very shared philosophy. And we would talk extensively about, I was very fascinated by their world, their choice in life to be a producer. It's difficult, very difficult path. And there was a time when it was a different kind of thing. It was lucrative and it wasn't as difficult. And as corporations have come in and the movie business has changed to produce less movies and things have moved to television, it's become a very difficult job. We would talk about that and they would have the same point of view, and it just felt like producing was a 20th century job and that there was an opportunity to do it in a 21st century way. And so when I left, and we talked about maybe one day we'll try that. So when I left Valiant, they said, hey, why don't we do this? Yeah. And they knew a very successful veteran, very respected television producer by the name of Kathy Ling. And she had started J.J. Abrams' television division and produced all these amazing television shows, Fringe and Lost, etc. So the four of us sat down and we thought, let's try something different. Usually production companies are run by one person at the top, whether they're a producer or an actor or a director, someone who spearheads it and it's their taste, but also the company is limited by their taste, limited by their bandwidth, limited by their relationships, right? The old adage is in Hollywood, it's who you know.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, what if we, the four of us, pool those three things? We pool our taste, we have broader taste, pool our relationships, we have more relationships, pool our bandwidth. As long as we don't have an ego about this, we share. Not everyone needs to be cutting everything, but the goal is, as we're publishing, everyone's cup runneth over overall. Maybe there's a way to do this. And we found that we were very successful 6 months in, which is the first year into a new production company, if you have one thing going into production, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
6 months in, we had four things. We had The Witcher went to production. Sean and Jason had been producing The Expanse. It was canceled at Sci-Fi. We all worked together to bring it over to Amazon, got it renewed for a fourth and fifth season. Now they're doing a sixth. That went to production.
That's incredible.
Bloodshot went into production. And Scary Stories Tell in the Dark with Guillermo del Toro, that's our producing partner, went into production.
Oh, wow.
And so the four partners had to each go to a different continent, essentially, to manage these productions.
Yeah. And they've all been extremely successful, particularly, The Expanse and The Witcher. And The Expanse,
The
Witcher just blew up. And I played the video game. And I'm sure a lot of people did. And then there were people that had no idea that it was a video game and just thought this was like a really cool show, about magic and medieval, times. But, The Expanse is at an interesting journey, as you said, because it was canceled and brought to Amazon Prime. And I actually just interviewed Karina Becco, who did the comic book a few days ago. And, so yeah, it's just a really interesting how it has like this cult following, all these people, all the fans sort of like rallied together to be like, no, we don't want this to be canceled. And that's amazing, the power that has.
Well, there were people with Sean and Jason spearheaded that. They've been producing that for years, but it was just for all of us fascinating to watch. We would get texts from Amazon saying, did you do this? Do what? They're showing us photos of fans flying planes outside the Amazon offices with banners that say Save the Expanse. It was really amazing. It's a testament, I think, to, we tried to do it at Valiant too, just build something that there is no substitute for in any medium. And if you look at The Expanse, if you love hard sci-fi, there's nothing